what's wrong with you? Why were you on our show?
Because I'm in a wheelchair. No, so I've got a bit of a mystery condition really, but just for a mouthful, a severe connective tissue dysplasia with neuromuscular involvement.
And in layman terms?
All my joints fall out of their sockets constantly, and my innards don't work well.
Tell me about the rings on your fingers.
My fingers dislocate on things like, go for the microwave door a bit too fast, or a lift button, and if I catch them offside, they bend in many different ways and then they'll just pop out. So I pop them in myself, and my mum's a physio, which is very handy. But they hold them in.
One story I really remember from when you were on the show was you talking about dislocating your shoulder, and you just said to me it's just changed recently, but tell the audience about dislocating your shoulder.
Well, just up until recently, it was dislocating like up to 7 times a day at the last bit, and 14 was my record, I think, for one day. So they've thankfully replaced a lot of it with donor tissue, which is awesome. So it hasn't dislocated in 4 months. It's pretty cool.
Well, my art is a bit different, but different than all these others in this gallery. But my art is like, I like facing Van Gogh, and I also like Wes Mombasa, and I know everybody knows him as Member, but I just, those guys to me are the most genuine, beautiful artists. I also like Pablo or others like that. And I do like a little bit of John Olsen, but I do like.
You like colours?
I like bright, like very bright colours in my drawings. Like I do pink, but hot pink or soft pink. But sometimes I like different colours. I like the most. I like yellow and red and orange. But I just every day now after work I do crayons, and crayons make me calm every day, because I do get excited a lot, but crayons just keep me calm. But coloring paint is very messy, and I like messy a lot.
I'll go back. Haven't had a difficult childhood growing up in a small country town, Kempsey, New South Wales. It was hard coming to terms with myself as a gay man, let alone being an Indigenous man. You know, I just needed the disability, and I'd have the trifecta. But I didn't have any role models, and so I guess where I'm at in life now, getting into drag, it was just it was just a night of fun. Having a party with a friend's birthday, and we just all dressed up, and I thought, I could have fun with this sort of thing. And having done one of my first shows back home in Kempsey at the local RSL club, we sold, it was limited to about 150, and we sold out. It was like the whole town was there, all 26,000 of them, which was great. And so just from that, I guess not having a role model, growing up as an Indigenous gay man in the community is kind of sort of fallen into that. It's helped me.
Like in some ways you've become a role model through doing this character?
Yeah, absolutely. Having a platform to be able to say to the young ones, you're just living your life. Everybody's got a story to tell, go out and do it, sort of thing, yeah.
What are some of the things that people come up and ask you about or say to you?
What's wrong with you? A lot. I often think of witty answers back to that and then chicken out of saying them. But I have had parachuting accidents. One person believed that once. So, but no, that's one of my most common ones, I guess.
Dallas, what do people say to you?
Oh, does you speak well for an Aboriginal guy? Or you're too good looking?
Oh, really?
Yeah, it's just stupid.
Digby, what about you? What advice would you give people who maybe say rude things or have these questions to you, what advice would you give to people about how to ask these hard questions?
Well, if people who be rude to people with disability or who people with non-ability, don't be rude to people like us or them, because one, word is a very bad thing to people. It's very subjective. Like, I don't want to say it, but it's rude to say it, but it's something to do with their attitude, or they're looking at you, who you are, where you come from, and all that. Those people who say those bad, nasty words to people like normal people or people with disability, please don't do this to us. We just want to be friendly and charming. Well, not about charming, but I mean like things that we need to learn about people in life. We don't want to be picking on people who are picking on us.
I think it's incredibly important to have a good sense of humour, and I think that it helps you deal with things that can be a little bit hard. And I certainly know for me it's something that, I always try and find also positivity, but I always make jokes about things, and again, it comes down to intentions behind jokes, whether they're, tasteful or not, but yeah.
Like, if you'll notice, Jo's shoes are brand new, and this is what she said on the show. One of the perks of being in a wheelchair is that she always has new shoes. Dallas, you're a nasty girl who brings a lot of humour to your work. So tell me about humour and in the drag world. And dealing, I suppose, with being Indigenous and gay, drag, you've got a whole lot of stuff that you're dealing with.
I guess it's trying to break down the stereotypes with what society generally thinks of Indigenous peoples. And there's not a lot of performers out there, and so having that platform sort of gives you the opportunity to sort of just say to the world, there are Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander people out there who are on stage and doing this. I mean, it's not huge. There's not a great many Aboriginal drag queens out there, but being able to promote what I promote, during a performance, but also, being able to take...
You promote stuff around teen suicide, I know. That your character, even though it's big and outrageous, there is other stuff going on underneath that, isn't there?
There is. I guess it's only having come to terms with my own sexuality probably about 3 or 4 years ago. She's helped me sort of be able to be myself. And so I guess, people go on about saying, you got your feminine side and your masculinity side and all that sort of stuff. But she kind of brings me out, making me feel comfortable enough to be able to share my issues that have affected me personally, having had my 19-year-old nephew commit suicide probably about a year ago. And that was difficult, and so there are the Palm Island sister girls, the transgender sister girls up in Palm Island, who are killing themselves at a really awful rate, and so not a lot of mainstream society hear about this sort of stuff, and then so you've got the younger Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander, kids who are LGBTQI plus are also doing the same. And I don't mean to bring a dampener on it, but I'm hoping that I'm making people aware of what's happening, within my world.
Dallas, what was it like for you going on the show, telling your story to the whole world?
It was a positive experience. I mean, being an Indigenous drag queen, artist, performer, I find it unique. The feedback, I did myself a favour and I didn't read too many of the comments after the show was shown on social media. I just sort of read X amount of comments, and the majority of the first few were all positive, and I just left it at that. And so I thought that was the best way of being able to cope with it. But it was a good experience, and hoping that like Digby and Joe, our stories are out there and saying, well, it takes all kinds to make the world go round. I'm aware that that's cliche, but just hoping it makes a difference with people's way of thinking and breaking down stereotypes. I guess.
Dick,
Yes.